So today guys, in this video, I've compiled a list top 5 plugins of 2020 geared for guitar players and geared for metal. Let's get into it. So what is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. My name is Ray. I'm a guitar player here on YouTube, and this video, I kind of already did, but let me explain why I'm doing it right now in 2020. So I'm paraphrasing here, but I put out a video called Top 5 Plugins for Metal in like 2019, just last year. And yeah, man, like unbeknownst to me, these two companies that you'll see who I'm talking about here in a brief moment, they just keep seeming to be going toe to toe, head to head, and keep trying to outdo one another. And it's awesome and extremely fun to watch and to be a part of the guitar / metal guitar community. Seeing these two companies duke it out, man. They're like Rocky and Drago in Rocky IV, or Spider-Man and Venom, but they're both Venom because Spider-Man's a bitch. I've compiled a top 5 list with one honorable mention of what are the best plugins of 2020 for guitar players geared for metal. And spoiler alert, they both come from STL Tones and Neural DSP. Before I get into my list, put down below your top 5 plugins, or your top 2, or your top 1, your favorite plugin for metal and high gain stuff. Leave it all down below. Let's have a nice conversation, alright? Alright, the one honorable mention is the STL Tone Hub from STL Tones. Now, this kind of has a bit of an asterisk because a couple of reasons. One, it's brand new. All these other plugins I've personally been using for a lot more time on this channel and in my own personal stuff. So it's like, you know, anytime something's new, you can either love it right away and then it kind of like, you know, isn't as sick a couple weeks later or whatever, or it has the opposite effect where it's not as cool, and then as you more and more use it, it becomes your favorite thing of all time or whatever. You guys know what I'm trying to say. It's like it's brand new, so it's hard to determine where exactly it is in the list. Maybe one day I'll do an updated list in 2021 when there's a bunch more plugins. But for right now, STL Tone Hub is just sitting comfortably at the honorable mention. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it is really sick. It's really sick, and yeah, it's not exactly the most metal thing in the world, but it does have a lot of high gain rhythm stuff. And so again, sitting comfortably at number 6 / the honorable mention of this list. Alright, coming in at number 5 is the Abasi Suite from Neural DSP. Now, I personally am not really the biggest fan of this plugin, but that's kind of irrelevant, honestly. I kind of like the Plini one, the Plini Suite, better than the Abasi Suite, but the Abasi Suite is undeniably geared for metal players and geared for, you know, like gent players or like progressive players, whatever you want to call it, like the modern player. It's really geared towards the modern player. And why it's on this list is the gain structure is so intense, man. Like there's this yellow and this orange and white amp sim in this plugin, and they both just have so much gain and so much low end build up, and it's so heavy sounding. And you know, like I said, not my favorite gain structure per se. I like a little bit more tightness with my gain saturation, but again, regardless, the Abasi Suite is just so sick, and it's undeniably geared for metal players. Again, I love it, man. All right, number 4, the STL Tones camp is back, and we're going with the Will Putney Suite from STL Tones. Man, when this came out in like early May of 2019, this was like what I was saying in the beginning of this video, where like one company was outdoing the next, and they kept going up and up and up. The Will Putney Suite, when it came out in early May, man, it took over the internet. And again, my community, our community, the metal community was obsessed with it. It has 4 high gain amplifiers, you know, modeled after I think a PV5150, Bogner Ubershaw, a Triple Crown, and a VH4. I mean, that's so sick in of itself. And then you can blend them, and it has bass tones and lead tones and, you know, different stomp sections. And yeah, the fact that it has so many different amplifiers, high gain amplifiers, and all the presets. I forgot to mention all the presets that come with it. It's really, really sick, man. And again, I love it so much. It's one of my favorite plugins of all time, and that's why it's on this list at number 4. All right, top 3. Here we go. Back to the Neural DSP side of things. Coming in at number 3, it pains me to say it, but it's true, is the Fortin Nameless Suite. I wish it was higher on this list, I really do, but there's 2 other plugins that are a little bit better. But the OG of this list, man, the Fortin Nameless Suite, when it came out in mid to late 2018, huge, man, huge. This was the catalyst to saying goodbye to the old companies that were doing it before these two, STL Tones and Neural DSP. When the Nameless Suite came out, man, that was it, man. That was just like, you know, Neural DSP's on the map in a big way. And I do believe it was their first guitar plugin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when it came out, man, it was so sick, and it's still sick and relevant to this day, you know, almost 2 years later. The thing I personally like about it the most is how unique it sounds. A lot of these amp sims and plugins in general sound pretty similar. You know, they kind of do the similar thing, but the Nameless Suite, in my opinion, is the most distinguishable and certainly the most unique. Again, I love it for that. I love it how, like, whenever you put it onto your DI or put it into your DAW into your project, as soon as you hear it, at least as soon as I hear it, I know exactly what it is. And yeah, man, I love it. That's why it's number 3 on this list. I use it all the time to this day, and I can't really find anything as exciting and unique as the Nameless Suite. Okay, top 2. So now for those of you diehard fans of my channel, of our channel, you know, you could pretty much guess what the top 2 are. But if you're brand new to my channel, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all my lists and all my rankings and all my plugin demos, etc., etc. I'd really appreciate it. So number 2. This was really hard for me to pick. This amplifier, or this plugin of this amplifier, is my favorite amplifier in real life of all time, and it's probably my favorite high gain plugin sound of all time. But there's a reason why it's number 2 and not number 1, and I'll get to that in a second. But number 2 is the Powered by Omega Granifier plugin from Neural DSP. Man, what can I say about this plugin? I absolutely love the Granifier in real life, formerly the Iridium from Powered by Omega, now the Granifier. I love this amplifier to death, man. And when they announced that they were doing a plug-in version of this said amplifier, I was over the moon, man. I was so excited, so ecstatic. You know, the Powered by Omega camp has been nothing short of amazing and kind and generous to me personally. And even if they weren't, the fact that they had this product and teamed up with Neural DSP, it just makes it that much cooler, man. It's just an amazing high gain amplifier. I love this plugin. That's why it's number 2. But there's one thing that's limiting it from number 1, which is a nice segue into number 1. Number 1 is, in fact, the Tonality STL... wait. I gotta get the name right. The Tonality Andy James from STL Tones is, in fact, my number 1 plugin, my favorite guitar plugin for metal tones in 2020. Why is it number 1, you ask? Well, not only does it have a PV6505 and an EVH5153 modeled in there, but it also has an AC30, and although that's not really, you know, geared for metal per se, there's a lot of ambience in metal and in modern metal, and the fact that it comes with that, as well as Andy James' Revenant pedal, his signature distortion pedal, preamp pedal, as well as reverb and delay, it's just like the best package in my opinion. I've yet to find a complete package that is just as good or better than Tonality Andy James. So for now, it's sitting at number 1 as my favorite plugin of all time as of right now in 2020 for high gain metal tones. So everybody, that is my list. I hope it all made sense. I hope you guys can agree with me, and if you disagree with me, leave your thoughts down below in the comments of this video. Put your ranking down either from 1 to 5, 1 to 10, your top 1, your top 2, whatever you want to put down in there, put it down. We'll have a nice friendly discussion. And if you disagree with me, put down below as well why you disagree with me and why your list is better than mine. Let's have a nice little conversation, all right, guys? Guys, I want to say real quick, a huge shout out to my patrons. They don't get enough credit that they ultimately deserve. They are fueling this channel and keeping this channel alive. I love them so much. It makes me excited that there's people out there that are excited for the content that I put out. And so the fact that they're willing to support the channel in the way that they do does not go unnoticed. So you patrons, you guys watching at home, I sincerely appreciate you. I don't say it enough, and although it may sound cliche, you guys mean the world to me. I sincerely appreciate that. And if you do in fact want to become a patron, help support the channel, the link is down below. I would really appreciate it, as would everybody else tuning into my channel and my show, if you will. So guys, enough of my rambling. I am out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Stay metal, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.